Hi everyone, welcome to a tour of my very first Factorio base. So I started playing Factorio in around, I know the year is 2020, and who got me playing was Exterminator, the YouTuber, Factorio YouTuber. And one fortunate thing that I felt watching his videos was it kind of like led me to just let the base grow organically rather than planning things to the dot and leaving like huge amounts of space for buses and things like that. I just like partition enough space for like maybe 4 belts at most and then let the spaghetti handle the rest. So let's have an overview of the base by going to the map. So this is a 600 science per minute base. Let's go through the production graphs. An hour already selected actually. So I'm averaging about 600 science per minute. And I think when I first launched my rocket, I was going at about 140 science per minute. So I tried to squeeze as much as I could to get the research going. So I'm actually like mining productivity 53 and artillery shooting speed 6. And they're pretty useful in the end game. Energy weapons damage 16, projectile damage 16. Yeah, with that much research gone, you don't really need. Yeah, later on, I didn't need walls since the turrets were strong enough on their own. Okay, then let's look at pollution. Yeah, shaped like mainland China, being the economic powerhouse that it is. So I actually have an artillery train over here and one that's just parked in the middle of my base. So they have these two circles overlapping. And this area is just because I cleared the biters there already. And as for my outposts, I do have this outpost here at the side, but these are more of the later ones. Early on, what I did was I went northeast along here. I went along the coast when I still had the biter bases around here, and I haven't cleared it up. Once I got to this point, I went east. And I went east some more. And yeah, I really went east. I went even more east. And all the way here. Yeah, very far. And the patches that you can get over here, well, I was getting 156 million, 88 million stone patch, 181 million coal patch. For even 3000 signs per minute. I have another base that's 3000 signs per minute, and yeah, this is like too much. You don't need to go this far, even if you're going for like 3000 signs per minute. And actually, I noticed that there was a bit of a diminishing returns when it comes to exploring this far out. So 156 million ore pack here, 159. So you're getting about 150-ish, and just about halfway through that point, this is actually my farthest outpost. I'm already getting 150 million here. So just up to here is actually more than enough. But of course, it's still fun to ride a train from my base all the way to the end and back. I do appreciate train rides. Can be quite fun. 54 million, 23 million, 45 million. And you can see some of the outpost defenses that I have. I just kept this one here for remembrance of where I came from. Yeah, and okay. So let's break down my the main base. So my starter ore patch was around here. So the smelting started expanding from here. Then when they ran out, I built a train offloading station right on top. Then just connected the input to where the old ore was coming in. And then yeah, I have my labs over here. And you can see the red science is here. I added the green science on top. And then the green chips. And then let's see, where's the military science all the way on the other side here. Then I have the blue science here. And then I have the purple science all the way here, near where the ore is being dropped off. Because you do need a lot of rails for it. And then my first green green chip stack is over here. Then I extended it here. Green, blue, and then with the blue signs, the red along it. And then as I found that I needed more, I expanded it across this pseudo bus going across here and expanded it down. And so I built throughout the entire base. I only have one silo, and I figured that's really more than enough. And as I watch more videos on Factorio, I learned that you could do this and really just surround one lab with a bunch of beacons and you could do so much research. But I find this a bit forced and unnatural. So in my later playthroughs, I don't really do this, I think. I might go back on that. Rocket launching. I also don't have a lot of lights around, so let's just walk on foot. Make sure that I'm not gonna get killed. Screen. Let's go across. And so I started around here, then I have kind of see that the mass of belts generally goes through this line. And of course, when early game you didn't have dynamite or the cliff explosives, so I just kept that there. So keep going down here. And one of the more organized areas of my base is the refineries. And let's see, do I have a circuit network here? Yeah, so I have some circuit network here. So it detects when the oil is reaching full capacity, then it turns it off. And then, so this from this line down is basically expansion. Expansion meaning that I didn't have this before my first rocket launch. And let's go to the silo area. So RCUs surround the rocket silo. And I have this kind of pedestal here with the cliff, so I thought it was a pretty place to put the silo in. So low density structures. And I have experimented with this kind of modular layout ish. And then let's look at the expansion. My rocket fuel is over on this side. Yeah, here. And it just got too far out and I didn't really want to deal with the spaghetti, so I just sent it to the robot network. And more expansion here, more chips. And final rocket fuel production here. So let's go to the Next, offloading station. And so this is the later one. The first one was the one on top. And it's a bit more refined. So it's actually composing of two depots. One here and then one that snakes around. I managed to fit in later. And it goes here. And so my later bases, I use this format rather than this. Because I just find them neater. And then let's just pass by the new smelting area without getting killed by the trains. And so I didn't think to like leave space for the belts. I just weave them through the tracks up and over, well, down and under. So let's walk along the tracks and go to the northern one. And I can also show you guys my Kovarex setup. Simple setup, and I find that this is more than enough for all the power needs that I have. So how this works is I have the ore coming in as a carousel in the middle. They get picked up by the centrifuge, refined into the typical ratios of 235 and 238. And then I have these long inserters that deposit it on the outside of the outer belt. So outside belt, outer part of it. You might have switched that. And then what happens then is the fast inserter picks it up and sends it inside to be refined even more, enriched. Once the process is done, the normal inserter outputs it, and as you can see here, since I placed the fast inserter input after the inserter, it takes it back in. And I find that it's a natural self-starting process. I didn't need circuits, and as in the beginning it might help, you would have like a bunch of this on, then the 235s will slowly build up, so you need to kind of like manually pick it up, then put it in one central one so that it starts faster. But other than that, it's self-starting and just sustains itself. Yeah. So I think I might put up a blueprint for this. It's a nice small setup. You can just plonk a depot, an offloading station here, and just have this like attached next to it. Don't need a very big setup. And let's look at... Yep, actually we're on the way to the North Station. So my power plant, I'll talk about that later. Okay, trying not to get killed crossing the rail lines. Green. Okay. Yeah, so simple one. It just grew naturally from the bottom up. As you saw just now, I improved on this design. So since it's daylight, let's talk about my power setup. I don't have the steam engines anymore. Even I can't remember where I had them previously. So as I had before nuclear, I experimented with solar. So I have all these batteries here, solar setup here. Then I have up here as well. So I think I did work out the ratios, so just copied, pasted, and have this kind of like blocks with a substation in the middle. And I can have this like blocks with 3 substations and just surround it with accumulators. As for my nuclear setup, this is my own design as I kind of like experimented with it. And yeah, what I learned quickly was you need a lot of pipes. And yeah, actually I didn't have space to extend this out to to be symmetrical. And so on the later iteration, I went ahead and built it in the water. So this is the setup, the design that I use for my later bases. It's not perfectly modular. So I know there are some designs that have the heat exchanger neatly aligned with like a set of 4 so that you can just copy paste. But for this one, if I want to extend it, I basically copy this entire thing and I just paste another one here at the side, so there will be that space. And it's not the most efficient, but I find that it's efficient enough for me. And by placing it on the water, I didn't have to deal with all the routing of the pipes. So this is kind of like what I do from then on. Okay, so that's my power setup. Let's see what else can we look at. Defenses. So these are the very first defenses that I built. I learned that I didn't really need any more than just alternating gun and laser turrets. And I placed the wall a bit of a distance from it. Later on, with all the projectile damage and laser damage research, kind of like realized that for the base game biters, I didn't really need the walls. So yeah, it just goes along the perimeter. Then I learned to use bottlenecks and water to have a natural obstacle to slow down the biters. Yeah, no walls, more than enough. Here as well, experimenting with a curve. Find that they tend to attack the edges and you have to suffer repairs. Yeah, man, this is some of the later ones. I kind of found that the trees help with slowing down the biters. So after about 250 hours, this area is still just like this. The biters filter through, then the turrets can deal with them. Yeah, just like this. Yeah, the trees are very helpful. And yeah, I have this line over here. It really helps. This choke point is like very good. And then as I refined the design, yeah, I just built like one straight line. Then I was experimenting with curving the wall of turrets. And here as well. And then I developed blueprints to just have them all connected. Diagonal ones. Let's see what else. As you can see, I do have this kind of like random stuff laying about. So this is me experimenting with mega base design. And I did kind of like wanted to make a mega base from this save, but then it didn't really work out. So I'm not really going to explain much of these things since I have an actual mega base now. That's about 3,000 signs per minute. But these did help in developing the designs for that base. Offloading or offloading setup. Yeah, this didn't really work out, but this did inspire my later setups for my later bases. And then I also experimented with very long trains. Um, and yeah, so base is 4 here so that they coincide with a curve, and then you can have like unloading stations on either side of this parallel tracks. Okay, I think I've covered most of the or what makes up the base. All right. So if you guys if there's any particular thing about this space that you guys want me to go into detail about, let me know. Please let me know in the comments section. If there's any particular part of it that you'd want a blueprint for, please let me know as well, and I'll accommodate. As mentioned, I do have a 3000 signs per minute mega base, and I'll make a video for that as well. And after that, I also had a playthrough of space exploration, the Factorio 1.0 space exploration mod. Still not sure if I want to make a video of that since I didn't finish it, but we'll see how. And I always find, yeah, I think I'll pause. Yeah, I'll just let the game run since I always find this, looking at the map like this, mesmerizing. So thank you guys for watching. Oh, I think I'll post a separate video with just this. So it's a bit of ASMR-ish, Factorio ASMR-ish video. So thank you guys for watching. Please keep a lookout for my next videos. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.